and give a big warm welcome to Michael Terpin, serial entrepreneur and investor, for a keynote speech on building blockchain companies in an AI world. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see, I need to tee up my presentation. Here we go. Okay, so if you have not been sort of asleep for the last 10 months, AI has been a huge buzzword in not only the crypto community, but in the technology community for, pretty much since ChatGPT went from like 0 to 1 million users in 5 days, and they're now at 1.5 billion users, which is very unprecedented. So a lot of projects that I've seen are starting to give up the ghost on crypto and say, you know what, maybe we're just going to drop crypto and move to AI. But crypto, in my opinion, needs to own AI. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm Michael Terpin with Transform Ventures. I'm at Michael Terpin on Twitter. I have some other contact information at the end. And let's go. All right. Click, click. What do I need to point to? Okay, they told me the other one. Okay. All right, so no, this is. All right, this is why you have rehearsals. This is supposed to go up one at a time, and obviously it didn't. So, kind of kills the presentation a little bit. Anyway, imagine that this is all kind of coming one at a time. So, in the beginning was Web 1.0. That was the dawn of the internet. That was the 90s. That was all about read. You were able to read and not do much else. You had browsers. You had the portals, Yahoo, Netscape. It was a big improvement over the analog era. You were able, for the first time, to be able to, see content from anywhere in the world. Web 2 was the right. Now we all of a sudden have thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and by the end of that decade that Web 2.0 flourished, the 2000s, you had billions of people on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, all the different messaging and social media platforms. And this was also the proliferation of broadband and Wi-Fi helped out quite a bit as well. Web 3 or 3.0, Web 3 has been sort of the main part. It was called, interesting, Web 3.0 originally supposed to be the semantic web, did not last very long. But there's a number of different aspects of this third iteration of the web, and it's ownership. And so with ownership, Bitcoin, of course, created it. So we're now getting into the decade starting with 2010. I mean, obviously, the white paper was end of 08, and a handful of people were in 09. But basically, the decade of Bitcoin was 2010 until 2020 and a little beyond. Smart contracts, token generation, NFTs, DeFi, all happened in that decade. And they all ended up doing, amazing things to the status quo. With smart contracts now, you're able to see a world where you could self-execute. With token generation, you could go and fund projects through a community. With NFTs, you were able to, for the first time, kind of be able to, starting with artists and musicians and going into enterprise, be able to take non-fungible tokens, single tokens, and ascribe value to them. And then decentralized finance really showed a world where you could go in and cut out layers of middlemen that the banking institutions of the world had forever sort of kept from the unbanked of the world. I'm not going to call AI Web 4 yet. I think it's too early. So just as they're saying Web 2.5 for the sort of migration of social into Web 3, I'm calling Web 3.5 the ability to take this read, write, and own and to automate it. And that's what AI is all about. LLMs, the large language models that ChatGPT and its competitors, the chatbots, AR, VR, and the AI metaverse are empowering. But that doesn't mean that we need to surrender to big tech. The 7 biggest companies in the world right now, pretty much all the profits of the S&P. And they were largely Web 1.0. Amazon, Apple, Google, NVIDIA. A little bit of 2.0 with Facebook and Meta. But historically, the innovator's dilemma, the champion in one era doesn't automatically dominate the other. I mean, Microsoft famously, Bill Gates, when he was running it, put out a memo in '95 saying we must become an internet company or we will die. And he was right. And they killed off Netscape and have become one of the major players in the internet. None of these companies have really become major players in Web3, and that's an opportunity. They're leapfrogging all the way over to AI. So the Web3 leaders, be it Consensus, be it Block Demon, anybody who's sort of built up a multi-billion-dollar market cap, these are the companies, as well as the foundations, Ethereum, Hedera, et cetera, have the opportunity to take their superior knowledge and body of work in Web3 and layer it into AI. Chips like NVIDIA's H100, various software have powered the first 12 months of this revolution. Now it's time for tokenization and decentralization to become a factor. So the keys to the future, you got to scale. Processing power, algorithmic efficiency, data integrity, and the on-chain tracking can then lead to processing that can be controlled on-chain. Right now, the amount of tokens that are shown to reflect AI and big data, at least as identified by CoinMarketCap, is tiny. 4.8 billion out of a $1.1 trillion market cap. I don't list them all here. The graph is number 45. Most of them are much smaller. I'm going to talk about a few of them. These are ones that I have some experience with. Origin Trail is in the portfolio of Alpha Transform, the crypto fund that I run with Enzo Villani. They're tracking 40% of the food chain in the EU on chain. And so these real-world applications that then have to take place on chain as they're moving into AI to speed up these technologies have a basis that's going to be hard for new entrants, be they decentralized or not, to overcome. SingularityNet is creating a whole multi-token ecosystem around various aspects of AI, robotics, and blockchain. They're the Sophia the robot guys. CPU Coin, decentralizing processing power, with AI being one of its big use cases, where you're able, just like Bitcoin allows miners from all over the world to earn Bitcoin, CPU Coin allows people to contribute their processing power, just like storage does their storage space. And Presearch is a decentralized search engine that is now developing a whole host of AI applications. In my own venture studio, Open Carbon is sort of my main initiative right now. It is it's a carbon credit marketplace that is the first to use enterprise NFT to be able to use multiple fields to be able to buy and sell to enterprise. And now we're layering in AI so that you can go in and have an LLM determine all your needs for you very quickly, and then recommend what to buy, and then go and execute it, as well as track the provenance. Blockchain Wire, the company I started a few years ago. Before I got into crypto, I started what's now called Globe News Wire. It was originally called Internet Wire, and then merged to become MarketWire, and now Globe News Wire. Blockchain Wire is a company that I started with a lot of the same folks and partnerships, and we're now moving to incorporate AI to have sort of a chat IR function, so that you're able to go in and have an LLM functionality to be able to provide real-time information in a chat environment for investors in both tokens and public companies. So strategies. If you're a blockchain company, you really need to look at AI. You need to see what your competitors in your sector are doing in AI, and you need to go and see what you can do to increase your value proposition. Follow the money is what I like to say. $75 billion invested in the last 11 months. whereas in crypto funding, we dropped from 5 billion at the peak for January of 2022 to half a billion in August. So we're still pretty flat in crypto funding. You know, we do have the halving coming up, and that's a lag factor in terms of venture funding. They wait until Bitcoin, you know, gets back up to 40 or 50,000 before they decide that there's something to invest in here. Whereas with AI, it's already on fire. Again, 75 billion invested since ChatGPT, you know, kicked down the doors in November of last year. And again, look for strategies that can give you algorithmic efficiency. There's a lot of things out there that by tokenizing and decentralizing, you can go and take an AI application, or you can add AI to your application, make it far more efficient. Data integrity, on-chain tracking, on-chain processing. If you're an AI company, you should be looking to partner, buy, build, or partner with companies in the Web3 sector, because the next 12 months is not going to be what the last 12 months is, nor the next 12 years. And again, we're at the start of probably a decade-long wave of AI growth. So it's inevitable, in my opinion, that some of the breakthrough applications are going to be community-driven, and not just who can buy, you know, who can raise the most venture capital to buy, you know, $100 million at a time of chips from NVIDIA. So AI overhead is very expensive, and if you're able to let the community participate in the costs and the profits through tokenized ownership, that's really an interesting way of building up the next communities. Tokenize, decentralize, and monetize. That's it. I was told I only had 20 minutes. I think I'm actually a few minutes early. You can contact me at Michael Terpin on Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm at Michael Terpin on pretty much everything. Michael at transformventures.io. The Alpha Liquid Fund is at alphatransform.io. I also have my own conference on the 19th and 20th at the Atlantis Palm. It's a very small, high-end conference, but I'm giving $500 off to any WOW attendees with the code WOW500. And it's at coinagenda.com Dubai. And thank you very much.